hey, I figured out a way to get a little bit longer runtime out of my water pump. So check out this next clip and see how I got it done.
You're watching the Fowl Play YouTube channel.
Alright, today we do a little redneck engineering, if you will, and come up with our own extended runtime water pump. So, let me get you in here closer, you can see what I did. So, it's your basic, 5-gallon can. I got this little cutoff valve. Let me get it out here better. This little shutoff valve from Amazon. I saw somebody else on the internet did this. And you drill a hole in here and push in this grommet, and then the fitting just pushes into there. You got to get the hole just right. If the hole's too tight, you can't push that sucker in. There's a screen on the inside of that, so it's filtering out some junk that gets in your gas. And then I just have it over here. I took the old fuel tank off, put an inline fuel filter in, and as long as this guy is higher than the carburetor, it'll continue to flow fuel. So I may not get a full 5 gallons, with this little loop in there. Maybe it'll shut down sooner, but I would think as long as this is higher than the bottom of that, it'll go down. It'll probably leave about an inch in there. My original plan that I tried to do, and this is leaking gas everywhere, was I tried to hook the outflow out of the tank into the vent line here off of this tank. But that didn't work. It ran for a little bit, and then I think it got a little bit of a vacuum lock and stopped. I'm gonna set this down. And then didn't want to work anymore. Sorry. And then I think I gummed up that valve by running fuel through it, because now it seems to not run through a full tank of gas. But I started this guy at 9:30 this morning. It ran continuously until 1:45. So that's about 4 hours, a little over 4 hours, and still running. This was about half full. I just added a couple more gallons to it that I had. My math comes up with just under 10 hours of runtime. If I can get an hour and 45 off of the 0.9 gallon fuel tank, 5 gallons ought to give me like 9 hours and 45 minutes at full throttle. So I'm gonna fire it up. It filled the hole up nicely in 4 hours. I'm gonna fill it back up and probably back the throttle down a little bit so it's not running wide open for 9 or 10 hours, and fill this hole up and leave it be and wait on ducks to show up. So that's our little redneck engineering here today. Thing runs on banjo music and juicy fruit, so it's good enough for me. All right, so I think that works pretty good, actually. I'm pretty sure it ran for around, like I predicted, around the 9 hours. I know from trail camera pictures that I took of it, or of the water, I could see it continually rising until it took its last picture at 8 p.m. And that was with me starting it at 2. And then the next morning, the first picture that I downloaded then was higher than that. So I ran it for about 4 hours in the morning, and then until it ran out of gas. And in that setup, I was afraid it wouldn't take all the gas. It pretty much drained that auxiliary tank. So super happy with that. So it got pretty high. You can see how we're sitting now. This is not knee deep, but halfway up my shins, maybe where I'm standing now. There are some deeper spots. This is all that smartweed that Tom and I came in here and we cut the trees, cut that tree, cut one back there, cut one down there, and then had that billy goat that we had in here getting it down. So I let it sit here for about a week. I've got a camera down there. It was over here on this tree, but I've got it on a 2x down there facing right at us. I'll have to move that before Tom shoots it. Got some ducks sitting right here this morning, right here next to that decoy that I set out just to give them some color to maybe catch your attention. But they were sitting right there. We are going to sit right here So actually, I don't want them to land on that decoy because we'll blow them into pieces. But anywhere through here, I think will be good. The sun comes up behind us, so I'll put my decoys down here so the sun hits them. I've got 3 of those Higdon, I call them butt squirters, whatever those things are, the things with the bilge pump, and then one of their little floating spinners that also squirts water. So I'll stick those guys down there and a few decoys. I really just want that motion more than anything. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Flooded this good. You can probably hear the pump running right now. I watched it. I think the water came down just a little bit. So I said, what the heck, let's flood her all the way up. I would like it. This is probably good enough. Definitely give me a comment here. Ducks have been coming into it. I should probably call it good enough. But I'd like it to be a little bit more watery looking. They're coming in way back here in the back hole. I'm getting just as many, if not more, ducks back there. In fact, I flushed 2 today. And Nathan and I flushed 3 or 4 the other day. And there's no food that I'm aware of back there. Obviously, there's some reason for them to show up. I would just like this water to look a little more open. So I got the pump running, another 5 gallons. I hope it doesn't overrun the little beaver plug in the dam, which is right back there behind the camera. But if it does, it's coming up at such a slow rate, I don't think it'll wash out. But it'll probably get another 3 or 4 inches. I'll let you know how that turns out. So I'm pretty happy with this setup. I really am liking this hole. All this flooded smartweed, you can see how it's been cut and it's laying over. Downside is it is mosquito heaven. They are everywhere. So I'm hoping it's supposed to be down in the mid to low 30s in a couple of days. I am hoping that curtails their activities severely. But if you look in the water, you can see all their little larvae. I'm not seeing any right now, but we've been stomping around. Do ducks eat mosquito larvae? I know they eat a lot of other crustaceans, but certainly on my camera footage that I'm getting, their heads are in the water. They're eating something in here, so that's super exciting there. But that's where we are. We're in the big hole. I haven't called this a couple of other things. I finally decided to call it the big hole because it's the biggest hole we got. And just FYI on using this 3-inch Harbor Freight trash pump, I got on Onyx Hunt, which is a great hunting app. If you've never used it before, I recommend it. And they're not a sponsor. Nobody's a sponsor except me. But I got on there and I drew a polygon around what I think is what I flooded, and it's about 1.25 acres. So you can get an idea of how long it takes to put shin deep water on 1.25 acres. Some spots are deeper, but you're probably talking a good solid 12 plus hours to flood that with a 3-inch trash pump. So think of that. If you were trying to scale up, I think I mentioned in an earlier video, if you're flooding 5 or 10 acres, unless you really are willing to take your time doing it, you probably need a bigger pump. But for this kind of stuff, acre, probably even up to 2 acres, just give yourself some lead time and start early. It'll probably work okay. So that's where we are. We're pumping some more water in here. Today is Sunday, October 16th, 2022, and we hunt. Season comes in Friday. We're not going to hunt that morning, but we are going to hunt Saturday morning, and we'll be sitting right behind you, hoping that the ducks come in. I got to check a camera earlier. I saw ducks this morning. It was a grainy picture, but they might have been mallards even. So we've seen them in here. We've seen some teal buzz the tower, but so far we've only killed wood ducks. So would not be unhappy at all to shoot a mallard. Hey, I'll take that for sure. So thanks for joining. Here we are, and I'll just kind of pan out and let you take a look at the big hole, getting ready for the season. Hope yours is good.